So we're going to have a catch up. We are an hour and 15 minutes in, and when I left you, I come back a bit shorter because I was missing a few bites, and I went in and I caught two little stockies straight away. And just when I was thinking, I'll pull your donut, you're fishing a bit too far, then I went in and basically just caught tiny little perch. My rig was hardly settling, so even though when I fed a bit of ground bait, I don't know if it's just so warm and bright. Say the pressure's quite high today as well. It's getting higher. I think this one's foul looked. First one that I've foul looked on this long line, just on the bottom. I've caught two as my rig's falling in. I had a little go shallow on like my longer line rigs, and I never had a bite. And I'm still getting, say, an odd sign, but it was probably about, I think it was about 50 minutes in roughly when I went long. And then before I went long, I just potted a 250ml pot of loose Skimmer's Dark down the edge, and I've just started to throw, say, a few live maggots over it. Looking around, from what I can see, there's not a great deal being caught. I definitely feel like I will get some bites shallow at some point, but rather than sitting there and, feeding loads of bait, trying to catch shallow, just sort of cut it back a little bit, just fishing on the bottom. And I am, say, getting an odd sign of a fish off the bottom. But again, maybe I'm just being a bit too eager, thinking, I'm going to go out, a lovely day, I've got a load of room. We had some bites off the bottom yesterday, but that was a lot later when we actually started fishing, so it probably warmed up a little bit by then. Sort of the best from what I can see is probably like Andy Jackson on 26. He's getting a few bites. Sort of as I'm laying my rig in, I am getting like an odd sign on my float, like an odd movement. There's definitely some fish off the bottom, because when I go further, like I've only got to go another foot further on than where I'm fishing, and it's another float length shallower, so there's always going to be some fish off the bottom there. But I just feel like just doing this at the moment until I'm getting, enough signs on my float to suggest that there might be a volume of fish off the bottom. Like a lot of the time on this lake, them big uns, you only really tend to catch them a few ways. You normally catch them, like, forget about dobbing. Obviously you catch them dobbing normally. But when it comes to feeding, you normally catch them shallow and in shallow water, or short in and around your nets, normally when, they're feeding me. So just popped off. There's not a great deal happening. Maggots are fine. You can see there where I've lifted up into that one, like the bottom is ever so soft where I'm fishing here. It was sort of the only place I fancied fishing, so probably am going to foul look an odd one. As I just loose feeding a few maggots. And just sort of laying my rig in. I'm still throwing some maggots short, I'm throwing an odd little bit of ground bait, and I'm still throwing a few maggots in the edge. See there, that was a sign of something off the bottom. It's so difficult because normally when you lay your rig in the open water, it's all sort of dead flat, but I've got to be very careful when I lay my rig in to try and get it underneath my pole. Because say if it goes further, I'm going up. It's sort of on a slope where I'm actually fishing. So yeah, it's a bit harder than I expected, to be honest. There's a lot more of these feeding little fish. So looking back, I know, we ain't long started, but I feel like definitely starting on pellet short, I think that would have been a better bet. Maggots are fine. Let's try a red one and a white one. Been alternating, I'd say double white's been best. So again, just before I go out, just throw a few maggots down there. So at the moment, no one's really, from what I can see anyway, no one's really sort of setting the world alight. So unless someone's catching, say, a few better fish in the edge, it's just, see there, a little sign, some dug it on the way down. I haven't caught many perch on this line. I've caught, I think, 2 perch, maybe 3 perch now. A couple of skimmers, but mainly the little stocky F1s. So I'm still feeding short because I feel like our short lines will come good a bit later. Let's try that again, red and white maggot. I just want to see how long, maybe after an hour and a half, seeing how this line goes. I might have a quick look in the edge, but say the fact that I'm not catching a lot of fish long, you know, a lot of fish short, I feel like that's probably going to come good later on. Again, with the conditions, you know, if it was windier and sort of in my face, you'd fancy catching in the edge pretty much straight away because it gives them that bit of cover. But what wind there is, it's sort of coming down, but more sort of going off my back. So the wind yesterday was blowing into this way, whereas you can see overnight it sort of swung round. You can see all of the scum in front of sort of peg 1. So there, a little stab, you know, on my float on the way down. I just feel like maybe early on when we were priming it, because of how many bites I was getting short, I was probably feeding a few too many maggots. You know what I'm like. So it might just be a case to keep laying my rig in. So I've got quite a few rigs set up. Got some overshotted rigs, some short line, winter maggies, and then I've got 3 long line rigs set up, a dibber, like a 3B8 winter maggies and a deeper one, a 4B8 winter maggies, to fish down to sort of like 3 and a bit foot. But when I had a go before doing it, I never had one sign, even down to 3 foot. I'm sure as the day warms up and the match goes on, I really do fancy getting a few bites shallow. So there. Like, that's what I was getting, a few of those little signs, and I thought, right, I'll go out shallow, thinking I'm definitely going to get a bite or 2, because it wasn't just like an odd indication I was getting. And then I went out and say no signs at all. Still a little sign then, just when I'm feeding my maggots. So the only thing I might have to do, because I've had an odd bite here, is just replumb up. See, that definitely looked like something off the bottom. So whilst we're doing this, let's just see. So I am